president.
No, the president never called her the border czar. That
Keep
never
trying,
happened.
man. You're pivoting, man. Don't pivot, man.
Wait,
Go
that's
straight.
not a pivot. This is the exact topic. They asked if she was a border czar. She told me to go to HRES 1371. That's not a pivot. I am on HRES 1371. It says, strongly condemning the Biden administration and its border czar, Kamala Harris. This is not by Biden. Biden did not write this. He never called her a border czar ever.
Tom, I live in Texas. You can't fool me, sir. I live in Texas.
So you live in Texas, so you know that she was called the border czar because you live in Texas. Do you really think living in Texas actually gives you a better idea of whether or not she was called the border czar? Is that really what you think?
No, go read it. .gov.
You live in Texas. Of course you know whether or not Biden named her the border czar. You live in Texas. My bad.
The Democrats, all they do is lie.
Oh yeah, this guy Moneymaker's a
Well, I mean,
joy.
that's what we're trying to here to talk about. But
Who's cursing people, please?
You know what the funny thing is, Moneymaker? You started with me. Now you're asking me to be quiet. I don't think that's gonna happen. You ruined you ruined it for everybody else when you started talking to me. You're the problem that needs to go. I seen you last night. You refused to go up because you're such a fucking pussy who loses the debate. And once you lose the debate, the automatic thing you know how to do, it's embedded in your mind. You start insulting.
all right, thank you.
You kick him out?
What were you saying?
All right, all I can say is that the Democrats lie. Everything is coming out. Mark Zuckerberg is coming out. Like even last year, Elon Musk. All you guys do is lie.
Can we talk about the Mark Zuckerberg story real quick? I went over it today. There's not much there. Like, did you ever see that when he went on Joe Rogan, he talked about the fact that the FBI came to him and told him that there was going to be a story about Russian disinformation, and he said, Joe asked him, he said, did they tell you it was going to be about Hunter Biden? And he said, no, they just told me that there was going to be some disinformation coming out. And then when the laptop story came out a couple months later, I just assumed that that's what they were talking about. It's very different than the story that he just told in the email to the Senate. You know, what was it, yesterday or today?
No, he's admitting that the Biden put pressure.
Well, he said that the FBI,
if they
not
could lie
Biden,
about that.
the FBI, not Biden. But again, that's different than the story that he told initially. I just explained that initially when he was on Joe Rogan and he talked about this, he said that they just told him to keep an eye out for Russian disinformation because they think there's going to be a drop. And then when the laptop story came out, he just assumed that's what they were talking about. I can send you the video if you want. Like, he literally says this straight up on Joe Rogan.
Look, if they could lie about Facebook and Twitter, you know they could control more things, right?
Well, sure, but that's the just saying they can control something doesn't mean that they are controlling something. So, like, generally, we have to have like a lot of evidence for something in order to make a claim. So normally, if I'm going to like get upset about something and I'm going to freak out about it, the first thing that would come to mind, especially when it comes to politics, is like Trump attempting to commit a coup and trying to steal the presidency and trying to get fake electors to go in and pretend that he won states that Joe Biden won. And now there's been, I think 12 fake electors that have all testified under oath in court and have been convicted for being part of the fake elector scheme. The lawyers have all been convicted and have testified under oath that they were part of his fake elector scheme. We have like mountains and mountains of evidence of this sort of thing where we can prove that this thing happened. Yet, like, for other things, we have to just say, oh, but they can do it because it's possible, right? Anybody?
It's just crazy how government controls media. They control your taxes. They control what kind of car you drive. They're trying to control everything.
They didn't control any of those things for me. Did they control it for you?
Yes, of course they control everything.
So
Hey,
what did
laughing. Sorry, I have a quick question for
And you
laughing.
guys,
So, do you think that we should have a stateless, cashless, classless society with no government?
no, no. What I'm saying is they control everything.
Yeah, but
What the hell does
you're
that got to do
implying
with
that they've done
what the
something
hell does
wrong.
that got to do with anything?
You're implying that they've done something wrong, and like,
They
of course,
have
they do their
they have
jobs.
done
What is it that
something
they're
wrong.
doing wrong?
I just told you, man.
Well, you said that they control everything.
They
That
control
doesn't
the media.
that doesn't say
Like
much.
There's regulations. The FCC controls, what can certain things and things that can be said on TV. So there's regulations. I mean, yeah, the government has control in certain aspects of life because they're the government. They're a governing body. So, I mean, I don't get your point.
the point is, like, why do we need 90 more IRS? Why do we need all this crazy shit? But why
Like
are they
what?
controlling everything?
Like what?
Because
Like what?
like she also wants to control your grocery prices. She wants to capital gains almost
That's not
50%.
true, sir. She wants
44,
to mitigate price gouging because that's what's
44.
causing the high grocery prices. Inflation is like less than 3% right now.
Yeah, we
It's
Why?
already
these
have
it's
consumer
Why?
protectionism that like protects us against like all sorts of raising prices a bit higher than what it is that items are worth. Those are
Why
things
do you
that have
believe
always
this? Because
existed.
Joe Biden. Why do you believe this? Because Joe Biden, the media,
Believe what?
Kamala Harris, and TikTok
Believe
tell
what?
you
Believe what?
that's how stupid you guys are.
No, believe what?
what are we believing?
Like, oh, corporate greed, price gouging. Why?
It's
Because
true.
Jean-Pierre told you? It's absolutely not.
Hold on, you
You
didn't
know,
say
you know
anything
that
just
it,
now. You didn't say anything. Yes, price gouging exists. What about it though? What, like, do you not believe it exists? Do you think that it's just made up? What are you talking about? What about price gouging?
the reason why we have all this problem is because we're spending so much money on all these stupid wars and these immigrants. And
Trump spent 8 trillion over, I think it was 8.6 trillion during his presidency, and before COVID, he was on track to spend more than what Biden has already spent in his 3.5 years.
I mean, we
So,
still haven't gotten
so
away
by
from
that
what
by
it is
that
that you
logic,
believe.
but Joe,
Trump caused this inflation because he spent a heck of a lot more.
yeah, because Trump spent 8 and Biden spent 7. But the point being is, he spent a little bit more because of the COVID.
No, I
So
just said before COVID, Trump was on track to spend more than Biden.
Coach Ling wants to come up.
I mean, speaking of doing more than the other presidency, I don't know if you guys know this because there's a bunch of people pushing misinformation on this, but Biden is actually on track to beat Trump's numbers in deportations.
You guys,
And
you guys are just
everybody's, you guys all run around saying that there's open borders and that they're not stopping anybody and that they're letting everybody
You guys
in.
are
But
just-
Obama
just
and Biden
brainwashed.
are going to be number 1 and number 2 in most deportations of all time.
Honestly, Harris and Biden has let the most immigrants in this country.
That's not true. That's not true. The title border czar isn't even a real title for the vice president. That's just something that was made up.
It was, I mean, the media did start calling her the border czar, but she was never in charge of the border. She was in charge of
Right.
going to the other countries that have a lot of people immigrating to the United States, like Guatemala, like Venezuela, Mexico. The reason that so many people immigrate from those countries is because they have like dire economic problems in their countries. They have cartels that are running around and exploiting everybody. And so her job was to go to those countries and help them fix the dire situations that all of their citizens were in so that less people were coming over the border. But she was not in charge of the border itself.
Yes, but Harris said the border should be open for all. Like anybody should be coming in and out
No,
as
she
they
didn't.
please.
You don't know the video of Kamala saying over and over,
Don't
do not come? Yeah, do not come. Don't come. Like she's telling everybody, don't do it.
And by the way,
she
Trump's
also-
administrations hit Venezuela with sanctions that pretty much crippled their economy and hurt them really bad, which is why a lot of people are fleeing Venezuela coming here to the United States. And we've had asylum laws here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tom. Since what, like the 80s? I know Reagan pushed for asylum and immigration. Asylum is totally a legal process.
Well, not
And the
only
bill-
is it a legal process, it's something that's required under the fucking what is it? The shit. I'm blanking on it. The World Union.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the actual name of it, but it's like all of the United Nations, under the United Nations code, like all
Right.
of the countries that are with the United Nations are required to have asylum processes.
Right. And Trump supporters like to bring up Title 42, remain in Mexico, but that was deemed unconstitutional because we already have Title 8, which allows people here to be on U.S. soil through a legal point of entry to seek asylum. And that bill that Trump did stifle was going to put more judges, more Border Patrol agents to help the process, to streamline the process of asylum.
Yeah, the main thing that we need is more judges to be able to try
Right.
people and decide whether or not they get asylum, whether or not they get green cards, whether or not they get a work visa, whether or not they get to stay. And then once those judges actually go through the process of deciding whether or not these people can stay, then they're able to kick more people out. But the longer that people are sitting in line waiting, the longer it's going to take for them to get them out of the country. And so that bill was supposed to do so much to get a lot of people out of the country and put more Border Patrol agents at the border, keeping the border safe. Yet it was Republicans who wrote the bill and Republicans who refused to vote for it. It was insane. It was actually one of the most insane things of all time.
Are you talking about the bipartisan bill?
Yes, the bipartisan.
Okay, the reason why it was rejected was because there was foreign aid also on that bill.
That's what they say, but that foreign aid was voted for by the
Can I
Republicans in the
finish
end.
what I was saying? Can I finish what I was saying? My thing is like, if that was what was rejected, why did they not draft up another bill, or why did they not present HR2 up to the Senate?
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but the point is that they did end up voting for that aid anyways. They ended up voting for more aid afterwards in separate
Right.
bills. And so the aid was not the thing that actually held it up. They acted like it was, but they ended up voting for it afterwards.
Trump literally said, you can blame me for the border bill not passing. And like Tom said, we're already giving aid to Ukraine and Israel anyway, without the border part. So that was not the reason. And that bill was drafted by a Republican. It was like a Republican's wet dream regarding the border. It was actually had much harsher laws for migrants to come across. But the thing is, Trump had to stifle that bill because that's what they're running on. It's fear, right? It's like, oh my God, these people are invading. They're coming over. He needed to run on something, and that would have given Biden the win.
So if there was more foreign aid on that bill and foreign aid was already being given away, why was there more on that bill in particular?
I don't think that the foreign aid should have been part of the bill. I do like it when they are more like concise with what a bill is, but generally that's not how politics works. Everybody kind of negotiates and says like, okay, I'll vote for this bill, but you need to add this, or I'll vote for it, but you have to add that. And that's kind of the way that like all the negotiating works within politics. And so unfortunately they don't keep bills concise and like strictly defined based on the parameters that they're initially voting on. So I would rather they did, but they never did.
Yeah. And respectfully, regardless of the foreign aid, right? For example, the money being allocated to Ukraine is part of the military budget already. Regardless of the foreign aid, if the border is such a big deal, if it's such a crisis, then why not just pass the bill and get it done with, right?
So would you guys not agree that when Biden came into office that the border...
So I don't want to take too long, so I'll try to keep it concise. But like during COVID, most immigrants from every country went back home, and they all just went home. And so during Trump's presidency, immigration actually went down. Not less people coming over the border, but more people going back home. We had less immigrants in the country because they were all going home. Then after COVID started to down and went away, then they all started to come back in the largest numbers of all time. So Biden already just had like a bigger mess on his hands in the first place. But then on top of that, Trump also had something called Remain in Mexico, which was where somebody tries to claim asylum. They're coming over from Mexico. They have a sorry, there's a loud noise. I don't know. But yeah, there's they had the Remain in Mexico bill where they were trying to keep Mexicans in Mexico while they're claiming asylum. If you're claiming asylum, this means that you are in some sort of danger in the country that you're in, and you're not capable of staying there. And if they actually, and I agree that like some people abuse that, which is why we need them to get into court faster. But if somebody actually is in danger from like a cartel or something like that, and they're trying to get out of Mexico and get into another country where they're out of the cartel's reach, it's kind of like messed up to keep them in Mexico, and it's again against the UN agreement for what it is that's required of countries who have asylum laws. So Biden had to get rid of the Remain in Mexico, which is one of the reasons that more people were coming over, but also because COVID was gone and done with, and so more people not only were coming over, but were coming back. So we didn't reach the same numbers under Trump of immigration until the end of 2022.
So my next question is does it require a bill to open and close the border?
What does open and close mean?
Simple as that. Open
Well,
and close.
it's not as simple as that, because the border was never closed and it's never been open. There's always been regulation. We always deport illegals. We always allow some people in based on certain restrictions. Like what is open and closed? Like I was saying a minute ago, Biden's literally on track to set a record on most deportations in a single presidency, in a single 4-year presidency. Like, does that sound open to you?
So even if he's deporting at a greater rate, would you not agree that there is a much larger mass of people that are overflowing into our country?
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about a second ago with COVID.
And also, there's a difference between people actually coming in and encounters. A lot of people are conflating the amount of encounters at the border compared to the people coming in. I do agree that the immigration system is very broken, but it's like I just hear Republicans constantly complaining about it. But when a resolution is offered, they
Yeah, the one of the reasons that like I said, after COVID, so many people went home.
And if I'm not
now
mistaken,
they were coming back. Oh, sorry, you cut out for a minute. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Tom. I was just going to ask you, if I'm not mistaken, during his first days in office, didn't Biden propose an immigration bill that was shut down?
I don't remember exactly, but I do know that like when initially Link's question was like, why would we even need a bill? And it is because there's just so much more immigration after COVID ended that not only are the normal amount of immigrants coming over the border, but all of the people who left during Trump's presidency because of COVID, all of those people are coming back. And so it is just a massive amount of people now because of COVID, and they needed a bill to put more resources at the border, more people, more judges, more patrol. Like they just needed a lot more resources over there, and that's what the point of the bill was, and they didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So
and this whole notion that, oh, sorry, go ahead, Ling.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say this whole notion that, migrants are coming over here and committing all this crime and there's a huge crime wave because of migrants. That's just simply fear tactics by Trump, because migrants have more of an incentive to not commit crime. U.S. citizens commit crime far higher than migrants, because think about it. If you travel all the way, you risk your life to come to this country for a better life. Why would you come here and just start committing crimes? Now, some of them do commit crimes, and that's unfortunate, but it's not like the overwhelming majority of them are criminals, is my point,
Yeah, they commit crimes at a much lower rate than native-born citizens. So, yeah.
I mean,
That-
we massively outnumber them, so that's not a valid
No,
argument.
it's a rate, like a not saying like more Americans are committing crimes. It's we committed them at a higher rate. So if you take like per 100,000, take 100,000 Americans and then take 100,000 immigrants, the Americans will commit more crimes out of that 100,000.
So do you not agree that we should be, I don't think this is pivoting, but I have another issue that I would like to address is the fact that, you know, these, undocumented, I don't like to call them illegals. I like to call them undocumented. Do you not believe that we should be taking care of, our veterans that are homeless, the homeless population that has ran rampant in all these major cities and everything else over, supporting people that come over our border without any documentation?
We should come first.
Yeah, of course. Americans should come first, 100%. But we're not in like any shortage on money right now. We're sending like billions of dollars, trillions over to between Israel and Ukraine, and in foreign aid to tons of other countries. We have tons of money to do other things. We should be taking care of our veterans, of course. But just like handing out cash to people doesn't fix an issue either, right? Like lots of times.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I meant like not sending them millions of cash or like handing out cash to homeless because we don't know what they're going to do with the funds.
Yeah.
But, just the fact that, we're housing these undocumented people and, giving them food and cell phones and things like that. Like, do you not believe that we should be, putting our citizens first? Is what I'm saying.
We try to do that, ma'am. Democrats have been trying to pass laws like that, but Republicans call it socialism and tell them to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. So when we do try to help Americans, it's, it's stopped at every
So
point.
basically, Moneymaker, you're just blaming everything on Republicans. Like there's not two parties that are in there, debating this stuff.
What I'm saying is that the problems that we're talking about, immigration and homelessness, Democrats actually have been trying to come up with solutions to these things, but Republicans are not accepting that. That is what I'm saying.
Well, just to be clear real quick, I mean, most of those issues are dealt with on a state and local level. And so it's not normally going to be the federal government that's going to be dealing with homelessness on a national scale. Like that's almost impossible because homelessness is just very different from one state to another, one city to another. And so normally those things are dealt with on a local level. But when it comes to like whether or not we have money for these things, it's not as if like we're looking at I mean, I don't know what this is supposed to compare to. So if it's like saying like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't vote for the border bill because that's a lot of money that should go to veterans or something like that. I mean, the money's still not going to veterans. So it probably would have been better to just go ahead and put it into the border.
And also, I just wanted to mention, I know that Trump has denounced Project 2025, even though there's literally speeches of him praising the one of the members of the Heritage Foundation. I believe in Project 2025, or it could also be in Agenda 47. I'd have to double check that, but either one of the two. They want to round up homeless people, basically arrest them and put them in encampments.
So
I just don't think that's a viable solution to solve homelessness in this country.
So I just want to ask you something. Do you know who wrote Obama's policies?
I don't know. There could have been many people. It's an entire administration.
Heritage Foundation.
I'd have to double check that. One second.
You can if you'd like.
Okay.
But regarding the whole rounding up the homeless people, it's not like he's going to it's not illegal to, be homeless. He's talking about people who are like camping in front of businesses and your house. Like, if you want a homeless guy living in your backyard, by all means, that's up to you. But, that's what that was saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, but again, it's not as though there's bills that are there to like replace any of these other bills, or like it's not like there's some bill that's going to fix homelessness or anything that we're like, oh no, we can't vote for this one because we want to put off all the budgeted money for the homeless bill. Like that doesn't exist. So like we can say like, oh, wouldn't it be better to do this thing? Sure, but that's not the other option. So like we could have done both, but right now we're doing neither. So like I would say that, yeah, at least getting the border secured. The border to me, and I know that this is like a Republican talking point to say that Democrats don't care about these things. I'm not really much of a Democrat. I am voting for Kamala for sure, but I definitely care about the border, and I don't want illegals coming into the country, or what did you call them? Undocumented immigrants coming into the country. I just I think that that's a serious issue, and it's something that was more than capable of being taken care of with that bill.
I mean, I absolutely agree that the border is a huge problem. That's actually one of the main points that I always bring up when people ask me why I'm voting for Trump. But at the same time, like, HR2 has just been sitting on the desk, waiting to be passed. And that has just been skimmed over. They could have easily brought it up and, either passed that bill, rejected it, or, drafted something new to fix what's going on. They've had plenty of time to do this. I know the first 2 years as a president, you kind of undo everything that the previous president set down. But, to tackle main issues that us Americans are facing today, that's one of the things that I'm, concerned about.
I don't see anything that says that the Heritage Foundation wrote anything for Obama. I see that there is something called, what is it? Heritage Health Reform, which is seems to be separate from Heritage Foundation, but that they said that his bill seemed to be very similar to theirs or their recommendations, but it didn't say anything about them writing this for him.
Yeah, I don't show that either. I checked a few other sources.
It's on Forbes.com.
I see the one on Forbes where it says, where did the idea of Obamacare come from?
It's about Obamacare.
A Defensive Heritage Foundation. So yeah, it says
I could read through that.
President Obama has said that the core idea behind Obamacare came from Heritage Foundation. Fact rates the claim as mostly true. More than one left of center commentator has made the same charge, often tracing the lineage from the Heritage Building in Washington, D.C. to Mitt Romney's health reform in Massachusetts to the Obama administration. Most recently, John, I don't know who that is, Aravosis, writing at the America blog, claimed that the core idea behind Obamacare, the individual mandate, comes from a 1989 lecture by Stuart Butler, then a health economist at Heritage. The same notion is almost as common on the right as it is the left. Yeah, I do remember a bunch of people saying that he was copying Mitt Romney's bill, and so if Mitt Romney got this from the Heritage Foundation, I would believe that. That makes a lot more sense.
And just on the topic of Obamacare, I understand, policies, presidents present policies and stuff, but, Trump said that he was going to dismantle Obamacare and he's going to build this new, big and beautiful healthcare plan that never, came to pass. So it's like, he said he was going to build the wall, make Mexico pay for it, and he was going to lock Hillary up, do all sorts of things, drain the swamp, even though half the people that worked with him are all in prison right now or on their way to prison. So it's just like, I just don't understand why I can't even call them Republicans anymore, but why,
So you're
the
saying,
previous Republican Party can't just put a better candidate?
so are you saying that Kamala hasn't lied about anything?
I mean, politicians have lied at some point, but what has she lied about?
Why did
Dude,
she
don't-
say that Trump was going to touch Medicare and Social Security? She openly claims and even advertises it that he's going to cut Social Security and Medicare.
Social Security has been something that Republicans have talked about getting rid of for a very long time. Tons of
Right.
That's not
It's
Republicans.
okay, but it's Republicans. Why is she slandering Donald Trump
Wow.
for her?
Who's the
candidacy?
leader of the Republican Party?
That's besides my question. My question is, why is she slandering his name? And you don't consider that, like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is,
Defamation?
but yes.
Because if
there you go.
if we want to talk about defamation, I think Harris and a lot of Democrats can sue Trump for that. If we're being honest.
No, but
Just
he
like-
spoke
Go ahead, Eden.
he spoke facts. He told the truth about how the Democrat Party is. They want control.
Sure.
They want to turn us into a communist country.
Define communism.
Yeah, I was about to say, what do you even think communism is? We're nowhere
Like
close.
full government control, you have no say.
Sorry?
Wait, hold on. We're having
Say that
trouble
again?
hearing. Can you define communism?
Like full government control, you have no say.
Wrong. There's no government in communism.
Technically, yeah. It
Okay.
depends on what kind of communism we're talking about. Like, what you're talking about is more authoritarianism, whereas, like, communism, technically, under, like, the Marxist sense, is going to be, like, more of a, like, socially run system where everybody does everything by themselves and everything's democratic, but it's all, like, very local.
Do you guys know, actually, speaking of, like, propaganda and defamation and all of this stuff, do you know why so many people attach Trump to Project 2025?
Because most of
He
his
is.
cabinet works with Project 2025, because Project 2025 has tons of like bills and things that they advocate for that Trump has also advocated for, because he just picked a
that's-
VP that has a huge part that he played in writing the Project 2025.
No. Joe Biden actually tweeted, and he actually purchased a domain to attach Trump's name. The website is going to be like trumpsproject2025.com or something like that. And he's openly tweeted this on his Twitter page. Now, when you go on this website, it'll redirect you to I think it redirects you to Kamala Harris's website now. But just to attach that name and tweet it to a tweet that reached over 1.2 or 1.3 million views is crazy. That's why so many people are confused about what policies Trump actually stands for.
Wait, but you understand that the I believe it's I forget exactly who it was. I want to say it was the Heritage Foundation who took part in the in Project 2025, and the people the head authors of Project 2025 have said numerous times that they are constantly in touch with Trump's campaign.
They
and
have
that
not. There's
Yes, they
actually
have.
a
they-
tweet. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but there's actually a tweet off of the Project 2025 that says that Trump is nowhere attached to this project at all.
Respectfully,
Okay, I
that's a
can
lie,
show
man.
you in-
They're gonna
No,
lie
I
about it.
can. Okay, hold on.
I can show you an interview with the two head authors of Project 2025 where they say, yes, he is 100% involved with this, his entire campaign. We are constantly in contact with them, and that like Trump's fingerprints are all over this. But Trump likes to do things his way, and he doesn't like to be told what to do. So he is going to come out and do these things, but it'll be his own idea when he does it. There's numerous interviews of them saying this.
And sorry, just real quick to what Ling mentioned, I'm on pbs.org. It does mention in his earlier campaigns and before he was a politician, Trump said about half a dozen times that he's open to major overhauls of Social Security, including cuts and privatization. More recently, in March of 2024, CNBC interview, Trump said of entitlement programs such as Social Security, there's a lot you can do in terms of entitlements, in terms of cutting. However, he quickly walked that statement back, and his CNBC comment stands at odds with essentially everything else Trump has said during the 2024 presidential campaign. So he did allude to Social Security cuts. Now, I don't know, maybe if...
Yeah, he's also
if
taking taxes away from Social Security as well.
Right.
He's actually suing Project 2025 in a rally
he's
that I
not.
watched with his. I'm speaking, please. I'll let you speak. So anyway, he is in a lawsuit with Project 2025, and in one of his rallies, he had no idea what Project 2025 means. This is election year, and this is what the Democrats do. Last election year, it was Russian collusion, and that all became a lie. And this is election year, and that's
That
just
did
what
not
happens.
Ma'am,
Was that-
where's your source saying that Trump
You
is
might-
suing Project 2025?
Yeah, I literally can't find
Uh,
anything.
You
saying
can
There's
look up on
nothing that
Newsmax.
says that.
Newsmax.
Oh, Newsmax,
Sir, look it up on
okay.
Newsmax.
Okay.
And I watched his rally where he said he had nothing to do with Project
He did say
2025.
that. He did say that. He did say, and he said that it was far
Can I
right.
get the
He
big
said that
screen?
there's extreme stuff in there. So he did
Can I-
say a lot of these things, but he's also said numerous times that he's everybody else that's part of his campaign, including his vice president, have all promoted Project 2025, have all said that they're part of it, have all, like, lots of them have parts in writing some of it, and their names are literally listed on Project 2025 as authors for it. So, like, while I understand that he does denounce it and he does say he's not part of it, it also, there's tons of connections throughout his entire administration and his entire campaign team where they're all linked with it.
So have you guys actually read Agenda 47?
What is this? You're talking about part of on Project 2025?
Agenda
Agenda-
47 is pretty much just a part of Project 2025.
No,
it's just
not.
watered down.
No, it's
Yes,
not.
it is.
No, it's not. No, it isn't.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, if you haven't even read Agenda 47, which is his actual, like, policies and stuff like that he has on his website, I can read right here where he says something about, let me pull it up real quick so I can read you exactly what he says about Social Security. And that's why I'm saying, like, why would Kamala Harris...
Were you here when I brought up that PBS.org article stating that he did mention cuts on Social Security and privatization? I think you were teacupping at the time, but I
And
can
cutting taxes on Social Security.
So, I just looked this up. It says Agenda 47 and Project 2025 share many themes and policies, including expanding presidential powers, such as through reissuing Schedule F cuts to the Department of Education, which I don't know why you'd want to cut the Department of Education.
Because
Mass
it doesn't
deportations.
Department of
Sure.
It's
Education
for
doesn't work.
funding. It's meant for funding.
Yes.
Okay.
How doesn't it work if it's meant for funding?
Because why are kids reading at a second grade level?
Wait, that has nothing to do with the Department of
It does.
Education funding
Oh my
states
gosh.
that cannot fund their
Alright.
schools. It helps with them. If we get rid of that, poor states won't be able to completely fund their schools.
Do you
as
know
well
how
as
schools
other
are
states.
funded, Nori? Do you know how schools are
Yes, I
funded?
know how they're funded. The
How?
Department of Education
How?
helps.
No, it's not.
Yes,
It's
they
funded
do.
by property taxes, ma'am.
Yes,
both.
and as
exactly.
well
Hold on,
as
wait.
by
In
the
those
federal
schools-
government as
yes,
well.
no schools has 100% of their funding coming from federal governments, but it's not 100% from like property taxes either. Technically, you're both right. The majority of it's going to come from property taxes, I believe, but
Yeah,
it also,
I'm not
it also
saying
federal
that.
funding.
I'm not saying that the state doesn't fund it. I'm also saying that the federal government plays a role into it as well.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that there are poor states then that don't get as much funding as others. And how is that going to be fair for the children? That's my question. How is that
Because then
fair for the children?
Okay, I'll explain to you how that's going to work. It's going to make teachers want to teach their kids, like your kids, if you have kids, you know, so that they can get this funding from the property taxes and things like that from the state. And they're not going off of like test scores or anything like that.
Correct.
Wait, but that's not,
So
that has nothing to do with funding. That should have more to do with just how you hold them accountable for actually getting the test scores
How do
right.
you hold them accountable?
You expect them to either, like, so lots of schools have to hit certain test scores in order to get certain grants. And then
Exactly.
they're, well, no, it's a
Yes.
bit different. So they'll have grants. They'll have different like things where they'll send more money once you start meeting certain qualifications. They'll have schools that start to, if they lose funding, they literally just make the school close down, and so this kind of puts pressure on the school to like
You
fire
should be
people.
pressuring our school to educate our children, no?
Yeah, no,
Well,
no,
listen,
I agree,
look,
but also the problem is that they should, in the meantime, actually be paying more so that schools are able to pay teachers more and they're able to get more qualified people in who are actually
So
willing to work harder.
you're proposing more, but where are we getting this more from?
Well, we don't actually put a whole lot of funding into our education system. Like, out of most first world countries, we are towards the bottom in funding for education.
And also, some states are, very low in education and funding. So if we take it to the states, it's just going to be a lot of inequality across the board.
that's
For
what
example,
I'm saying. Like,
yeah, for example, Alabama. You think Alabama is going to have the funding and the high test scores compared to a place like California?
Mm-hmm.
What about Chicago?
what
What
about
about
Chicago?
it? Chicago's not a state, by the way.
It's
Well,
like it's
I
a
think you
city.
mean Illinois.
I
No, I
mean,
don't.
they're going to have their own
I mean, the
local
city, Chicago. What about
funding
those kids
in
over there? They were
Chicago.
talking about they're reading at a second grade level. So how do you suggest we help them?
It's the same
I
I
think
thing.
we
don't think
should.
cutting funding is going to help them.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a
Like
problem
these
with funding for
teachers
the
are
most part.
already. Like I feel like these teachers are already discouraged.
I think we should send them all to Trump University.
True. They need to read The Art of the Deal is what it is.
Yeah, they'll be successful that way.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand your guys' logic. Let's take away funding from these schools so we can make them better. What? Like how
Yeah,
about
they
we
want to.
increase teacher pay? Like they get paid like shit.
Not only do they want teachers to carry pew-pews to defend against mass
Oh
pew-pewing,
yeah.
but now they also want to cut funding, and they also want to make it harder for kids to for teachers to teach, and also just with the book burning too. I mean, this stuff is so in your face. I don't understand how anyone could just vote for this guy at this point. Do you know who else was burning books back in the 1930s? Who else was against education and the media? I mean, the comparisons are all there. I just don't understand. I just wish Republicans would just put a better candidate. It's not about the whole MAGA move. I just don't understand it.
Yeah,
The host
I don't
too.
get it either.
I mean, we have kind of jumped around on topics. The main thing that I was hoping to talk about was I've grown up Republican. I've been Republican my entire life, and until Trump, he's somebody that I just can't get on board with, and even more so after his first presidency. I don't know if you guys know this, but like he did attempt to commit a coup, like at the end of his presidency, to try to stay in office.
Right.
This is
And he
the
still
first
hasn't
time in U.S.
conceded.
history that we didn't have a peaceful transition of power, and he tried getting 7 different states where Biden won and asked them to, he sent in other electors to pretend that they were from those states and told them to say that he won those states. Like he just blatantly attempted a coup, and I don't know how anybody could ever vote for somebody who's done that ever again.
Right. I think if Trump would have just gracefully accepted the fact that he lost and just conceded, and just, kept his mouth shut and campaigned, half the problems that he's facing right now would not exist.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see why they don't see the reason why he wants to be president. He wants that
Yeah.
immunity. Look
He's
at
trying to
look
stay
at
out
what
of
he's
prison.
being charged with.
All right. So about
He's
the
gonna
coup
go to
thing,
big boy
what
jail.
day? Sorry, what day did the coup happen?
So the
January
coup
6th.
happened on January
Okay.
6th.
Now, what day is inauguration?
It's like a
20th, January the 20th.
So how did he set a coup on himself? He's still in office.
wait, no.
Ma'am,
He
they were
attempted a coup.
certifying the election. Yeah, they were certifying the election on January 6th. This is why they wanted to literally HANG Mike Pence. They had a gallows there chanting, "Hang Mike Pence."
Yeah, because he was
Because they
supposed
were-
to go
yeah.
along with the plan, and this is something that's like not like a theory to and testified to under oath and been convicted
That's
of.
not true. Not all
Yes.
of the electors. No, that's not
No,
true.
hold on, wait, hold on. I didn't say all of the electors, but the electors who have been charged and convicted have testified to this. Not all of the states have even charged them, so of course, like not all of the electors have been convicted. But then even the lawyer who was part of this, John Eastman, if you go look up Eastman memos where they came up with the entire plan, the John Eastman has been disbarred and has also testified to this under oath. Numerous lawyers, part of Trump's team in Georgia, part of the RICO case, have all testified to this as well. Like this is something that is not a theory. It's not something that we're questioning. It's not something we're not sure of. It's something that we have like all of the facts on. We have the emails, we have the text messages, we have the Pennsylvania electors saying we don't feel comfortable with this. We think this is illegal, and them saying no, this isn't illegal. This is perfectly fine. No problem. Don't worry about it.
Tom, yesterday, did you see the news break on Pelosi admitting that she wouldn't take any extra National Guard? It was a news break yesterday. Look it up.
That's
Let
not
me
true.
guess. This is on True Social.
Yeah, that's not true.
It's actually on CNN.
So just to
Yes,
just to be
and
clear,
it's everywhere.
Just to
It's
be clear.
everywhere on X. It's everywhere.
just to be clear, Nancy Pelosi
News
is
break.
not-
That was yesterday, Tom. That was yesterday. She admitted. And
What's
actually,
your,
if you want
what's
to know
your
the
source,
truth,
Tanya?
listen. If you want to know the truth, Mayor Bowser denied National Guard as well. And you will see as it all comes out, it's all falling into place because when you tell lies, the truth always comes out.
So
And
just
it was a
real
news
quick,
break yesterday. Look it up.
I'm just trying. I did look it up, and it doesn't say that anywhere. It does say that she testified about these things, but just to be clear, Nancy Pelosi is not in charge. Hold on. This is like the third or fourth time I've tried saying this. She's not in charge of the National Guard. She's not allowed to deny or accept National Guard. She is just the Speaker of the House. She has no
That
ability
is
to
untrue.
accept
That
or
is her
decline
job
that.
to secure the House.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yes,
No, it
it
doesn't.
is. That is her job.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's not. She does have some ability over the Capitol Police, but that's only because what's it called?
Okay,
The Speaker
while we're-
of Arms. Hold on, just 1 second. The what is it called? The Speaker of Arms or something like that. He's the person who answers to Pelosi, but he's already testified to this that he did not take orders from Pelosi on any of this, and that he made all of his decisions himself, and that he never got calls about bringing in the National Guard, so he never accepted or denied them either. But one way or the other, Pelosi is never in charge of the National Guard, but you know who
Yes, she is.
Trump was in charge.
Yes,
Listen,
Trump's in charge of the National Guard that he offered to
Trump can deploy the
Pelosi
DC
prior
National
to this.
Guard. Trump can deploy the DC National Guard.
Well,
He has
he's
that
also
authority.
he can deploy the DC National Guard. He can deploy the fucking military. He is the commander in
Yes.
chief. He can do whatever he wants. Pelosi has no ability to decline or
He is in
accept
charge
any
of the House.
It
Trump's
doesn't
own
matter.
daughter.
She's not in
Trump-
charge of the National Guard.
Trump's own
Well,
daughter
if you deny
testified
the
under
National Guard,
oath
Tom,
that
then that's what
he did
happens
not
to the
do
House.
anything.
She can't
When the
deny
president
them.
offers
She
you, Tom,
can't
when the
deny them.
let me
She's not
talk.
in charge of the military. She cannot deny them.
Dude, I already know that, okay? First of all, let me speak. President Trump is in charge of the National Guard. He can get the military. He can call whoever
He's
he
not
wants.
president.
We agreed, okay? We agreed. If he offers that to Pelosi, she denies it. And the mayor of D.C., Mayor Bowser, she denied it as well. It's all coming out.
Okay, I see the clip of her
understand.
saying that we messed up. We should have done better. Those sorts of things. I see this, but this is just her talking about the government in general, saying that we should have done better. But there is nowhere where she says that she denied the National Guard. There is nowhere where it's saying that she had the ability to do so or the ability to accept them either. She had no part in the National Guard coming or not coming.
AP
Okay, I will
News.
message it to
AP
you.
News. False. Nancy Pelosi did not deny National Guard. Boom.
Tom,
Took
I'm
me
gonna
like
message
3
it to you.
seconds.
I'll message it to you.
So,
Moneymaker, I'll message it to you too.
so
Please do.
Put the source in the
So
comments.
speaking of things coming to light, how do you guys feel about Mark Zuckerberg?
I mean, we were just talking
We
about
went over this, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Saving his own
the stuff
skin.
that was in Zuckerberg's letter is very different from what he initially said about this, where he would talked about it on Joe Rogan, saying that he didn't. He said that the FBI did not specify what the Russian misinformation was. They just told him 2 months ahead of time that there might be a drop soon. And that was it. That's all they said. They didn't say it had anything to do with Biden. They didn't say anything about Hunter. They didn't say anything about anything. They just said there might be a drop soon. And then 2 months later, the Biden laptop story came out. And of course, anybody hears, oh, the vice president's son has just left a laptop in a repair shop that has like him having sex with hookers, has incest, has him smoking crack, like, you know,
You
has
can't say
foreign
those
business
things.
deals.
You can't say
Anybody
those
who
things.
heard
That it was a real Zuckerberg. They pressured him to get rid of misinformation on his platform, which I think saved a lot of lives. A lot of people use Facebook, especially older people with weaker immune systems. So I think that was a good call.
Yeah,
I'm
I
one of those
agree. I agree,
persons.
Nori.
I'm one of those people. I'm disabled. I have a spine disease. My doctor asked me about the shot. I told her no. I didn't get the shot. I had COVID one time and I was fine. It was flu-like symptoms and then it was gone. But I will not seek
Right.
anything.
For you.
Everyone's different, Tanya. Everyone's different. There's people
Oh, I know.
who get COVID and they're asymptomatic. They don't feel anything. And there's people who literally lose their lives. Everyone's different. There's
I know.
athletes whose lives have completely changed. They were healthy their whole time and then they get COVID and boom.
From
But I do just have a...
myocarditis. From myocarditis. And what does that cause? That's blood clotting.
COVID affects the immune system, ma'am. I
Dude,
do just
I know
have a
what the
real
shot.
I have a quick question for you, Tanya. What is it going to take for you not to support Donald Trump?
There will be nothing because I believe. Let me tell you what.
Okay.
There's two sides. There's a red and there's a blue. You know, you can vote for whoever you want to, and I love listening to the debate and debating. But I'm not going to tell you to change your mind. I'm going to vote for who I feel like I want to vote
It's not about changing your mind at this point. Like, it is about like whether or not you're actually sitting with your eyes open. If somebody attempts
I
to
have my
commit a
eyes open.
coup-
I've been on my
Yeah,
couch since
it-
2019 with a spine disease, and I've watched a lot of news.
If somebody is attempting to commit a coup, if somebody's lying over and over and caught over and over lying, if somebody's breaking all of the rules, if they don't respect the Constitution, they don't respect the checks and balances, this is somebody who has no control over themselves, and the country has no control over them either. And especially when it gets to the point where the people who are voting for him aren't actually controlling him whatsoever, but he's telling all of them what to believe and what talking points to repeat. There is no like part of that is not democratic in any way whatsoever.
I don't know.
I believe you're
Trump
talking
never
about the
called-
Biden-Harris administration.
Oh my God.
Right. I was gonna say
The
Trump
coup
never
was-
called me and told me to tell you guys what to say. I've
Well, I mean,
never been
and
anywhere.
they-
You know, this
I
is
don't-
all
I
stuff.
don't ever repeat
All the stuff
anything
that
that
I'm
they say.
talking
I'm
about
not a
that is
Democrat.
relatable to me is the things that I like have learned by myself, have researched on my own.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Democrat, so I don't have anything. I don't care about like Biden and Harris saying. I'm not a big fan of Harris. I don't really like a lot of her policies. I'm pro-life. I'm like, I want lower taxes. I am anti-immigration in large parts, and so I am not like in favor of them whatsoever. But I'm also not going to vote for like an immoral guy like Donald Trump, who's just like this crazy and this.
Then why wouldn't you vote Trump if you agree with all that stuff? Because that's literally what
He
you
just said he's not going to vote for an immoral guy.
So the only reason why you're not voting for him is because you don't like him as a person, not because of what
No,
what his policies
It's
are.
because he's a vile human being.
I'm sorry?
I went over a ton of reasons. I said that he attempted to commit a coup. He's anti-constitution. He's anti-democracy. He doesn't respect the checks and balances that are put in place.
Anti-democracy? You guys want to talk about democracy? You guys didn't even have a choice of a different candidate.
If you want to do a
Exactly.
That's not
That
true.
was a
hold on,
coup.
That's not
If
true.
you want to
I
talk
don't know how
about
to
a
vote.
coup, that was a
you can
coup,
do a
sir.
bunch of
Behind the
whataboutisms
doors.
and bring up other random stuff as well. But the point is that he is all of those things, and that's why I wouldn't vote for him. Kamala went through the process that literally everybody goes through, where before the general election, the DNC picks a candidate, and then that candidate goes into the general election and is the person that we vote on. That's how every election goes. There was nothing undemocratic about this. Joe Biden chose to drop out, and she was the person who stepped in. That's it.
And
Right.
Tanya,
And people
sorry, I
ran
do have
against
to.
her.
I'm sorry, Nuri. I do have to drop real quick. Tanya, I just have one other quick question for you. You mentioned that nothing will change your mind about voting for Trump. Just one last question. What about when he made fun of that disabled reporter
Oh my
at his
God.
campaign rally?
Dude, I'm not getting pet. That was not how it happened. But you know what?
Okay.
The news media can say exactly what they want. Like I said, you vote for who you choose. I'm going to vote for who I choose. I love listening to y'all, and we can listen to each other. We may disagree, but we all live together.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Well, thank you, panel, and thank you, host, for having me up.
Thank
Hope
you.
everyone
You
has
have
a good day.
Trump 2024.
Boom. Stay woke is back.
Yes, I am. These people, you can't fix that stuff. You know what I'm saying? That media just got these people brainwashed.
There's a video of him doing it. What do
He
you
does
mean?
not. Come on.
There's a
No,
video of
ma'am.
him making fun of a disabled person.
No,
There's
he's
a
not.
video.
No, he's not.
Wait,
No,
no,
ma'am.
Yes,
No,
there
ma'am.
is.
Hold
No,
on,
he's
there
not.
definitely
No,
is.
ma'am.
At his rally?
No, he's not.
No, ma'am.
Do you want
Send
me to
it to me.
post the YouTube
Yeah,
link?
send it to
Yes.
me
Get in
too.
the big box. Let her in the big box. We
No,
want to
I
see it.
can't. I don't have that live access.
Exactly.
I can give you the YouTube link to the video.
Send it to me. Yeah,
Yeah,
show it
send
to
it.
us.
Okay, sure.
Wait, they have you in the big box. They did. Oh. Okay.
I have the
He's-
controls.
How's he making fun of her?
I don't
But
think
anyway,
she knows she X'd out of the app so she could go get it.
You can't fix these folks, man. And I mean, and it's too late to even do it.
Well, no, this 100%
when the
happened.
debate-
You
the
can
debate
literally
happens
just
on the
Google it.
10th,
And
when
there's
the
like
debate
tons of videos that
when the
pop up.
debate happens on the 10th, he follows all her rules, follows everything she wants to do for the debate, and we're going to see
It'll
what
be
happens.
over.
Yeah,
It'll be
it's gonna
over.
like on her playing field, her friends, her scripted. She's, and he's still going to make her look. She's going to it's going to be no contest for him.
Well,
And they're
no,
like,
it's
"Are you
gonna
prepared for
be
the debate?"
horrible.
He's
Literally,
like, "What do I
everything
need
that
to
he's come
prepare
out
for
with
the
about
debate?"
her in walls so far has been pure misinformation. Where he calls her a border czar, he says that she's
She is
opened
the border
borders.
czar.
She was?
He says that she was never the border czar. That was never
64
the-
days. 64 days after he was in office, he anointed her the border czar,
No, he
sir.
didn't.
Yes,
he
he
did not.
did.
Tomfoolery,
That
look
never
it up.
happened.
But
That
you
never
guys want to
happened.
go off the news, but
I actually have a source. If you go to congress.gov and look up HRES 1371, it'll say right at the top, the very first thing that they write on there is that Biden appointed her as the border czar. And it's on
And it was like-
congress.gov.
What is
Yes,
But
this?
yeah, I
yes.
What
get
is
it.
this on?
Congress.gov, the government website. HRES 1371.
Wait, this is just calling her the border czar. This just is a Republican thing written there. Hold on.
Good job, man. That was a job.
Hold on.
appointed
Listen,
her that position.
Hold on. This is just the Republicans calling her a border czar. That's it.
No.
This isn't her being assigned border czar.
President.
No. The president never called her the border czar. That
keep
never
trying,
happened.
man. You're pivoting, man. Don't pivot, man.
Wait,
Go
that's
straight,
not a
man.
pivot. This is the exact topic. They asked if she was a border czar. She told
was
me
the
to go to
border czar.
HRES
Hey, anybody with
1371.
common
That's
sense
not a pivot.
knows she was the
I am
border czar.
on HRES 1371. It says strongly condemning the Biden administration and its border czar Kamala Harris. That this is not by Biden. Biden did not write this. He never called her a border czar ever.
Okay.
That
you
never happened.
Okay. Let me find something for you then. Hold on.
She
Why do
just
you
didn't.
guys like being proved wrong?
Well, no, the point is that she was never the border czar. She was put in charge of going to the other countries where they had immigration problems, and she was supposed to help them with their economic issues and their gang violence and stuff like that. But she was never in charge of the border.
Tom, I live in Texas. You can't fool me, sir. I live in
Wait,
Texas.
so you
I
live
know
in
what she
Texas,
was
so you
called.
know that she was called the border czar because you live in Texas. Do you really think living in Texas actually gives you a better idea of whether or not she was called the border czar? Is that really what you think?
No, go read
live in
it.
Texas.
.gov.
You live in Texas. Of course you know whether or not Biden named her the border czar. You live in Texas. My bad. I wish you had said that earlier.
Well, you're making yourself look like a fool.
Yes, I look like a fool. I live in Atlanta. You can't call me a fool. I know what a fool is, and I can tell you what fools are because obviously I live in Atlanta. So we're
On your page it says foolery, so I was saying foolery, fool.
Can't help it. You can't. You know what? We're not going to try to convince you on anything. You gotta have who you're voting for.
Wait, you said no. It has nothing to do with who I'm voting for.
You know what I'm saying?
Who's right and who's wrong. Don't pivot.
Don't like Trump.
Don't pivot. No.
Trump.
You said you were going to get a source.
Gotta like the
Don't
person.
pivot.
The media's got to paint a picture of him.
Why are
and
you
you're
pivoting?
following everything that everybody's saying. That's
Why
fine, man.
are you
I get it.
pivoting?
And you're going to protect her.
You
and
said,
you know what I'm saying?
bro, I'm not a Kamala fan. I don't like Kamala. I'm not going to protect her. I don't like Kamala. I've got tons of issues with Kamala. I'm not a Democrat, so I don't like. Y'all can play that game with the other fucking people, not me.
Who you vote for?
Independent.
I am voting for Kamala, but I am not a Democrat, and I'm not a Kamala fan.
I thought you said what the? You're confusing, man.
Do you know what? Do you know how our voting system works? Where it's like where you kind of only have two options, and so if you don't like one,
well, we had
but
three,
you
but
really
you jumped down with
We had three.
you end up voting for somebody that you don't
had
like.
three. So that kind of makes logical sense that we had three, and then the Democrat goes with he's an independent, but we'll go back to the history of that.
We have a first past the post system to where three don't really matter. Yes, we have a first past the post system. Three don't matter. There's two options. You pick one of the two, and if you don't like one and you really, really don't like the other, you end up voting for somebody that you don't like. That's just.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Then write in tomfoolery.
It's the name of my YouTube channel.
Well, you can vote for yourself. You'll have at least one vote.
Yeah.
If you don't like anybody, vote for yourself, then, buddy. Trust me,
it's a lesser of two evils.
Matter anyways.
It's a lesser of two evils. I'm voting for the lesser of two evils. That happens to be Kamala. But when I'm telling you that I don't like Kamala, but I still am voting for her, you're acting like this is a contradiction. And so I'm just explaining. It's not.
Yeah, but I get it. You can vote for her. Like I said, the border czar, Comrade Harris. That's fine.
Can you even define communism?
Can you? Can you?
Well, he's the one calling her a communist. I'm asking him to define communism.
Information
Go, Ling.
at your fingertips.
Go, Ling. Let Ling respond.
Literally, favorite question: are we a communist country? Communism or capitalism?
Oh my God! I'm asking if you can define communism.
I'm asking you
she's
right
not
now.
a
Tell me the
communist. That's
difference.
my point. She's not. She's a capitalist, right? So I'm asking you guys who are calling her a communist to define communism, and then tell me why she fits into that category.
Distribute the wealth to everybody. That is what communism is.
What are you? No.
Where did you get that from?
Oh no.
Look up the definition of communism.
Wait, hold on. Even if we accept that as the definition, we're saying that, like, where did you get that from? Who says that she wants to do this?
You give wealth to everyone.
Yeah, who says she wants? Well, no. Redistribute the wealth, not give, like, not that people have wealth, but redistribution. Short, like, redistribution is definitely one aspect of, like, what we would consider communism, or at least socialism. We would consider it at least socialism. So if that was socialism, and we can accept this as part of communism, why would we? Where do we get this from her? Where is she stating that she wants redistribution?
Dude, you listen to the stuff she says, like.
Great, got good one. Thank you. It totally makes sense now. I'm convinced.
Yes, it is, because it's coming out of her own
Look at
mouth.
her tax plan.
Where?
Can you tell me why? Can you tell me about her tax plan on uncapitalized gains? Do you guys know what those are?
Yes, but having, like, regulations on things and having plans like this does not equal communism. These are things that have happened within the United States and within capitalism since its fucking inception. Like, these have always existed. It's not anywhere close to communism nor socialism.
It's like you guys hear something, you regurgitate it, and you don't.
Nori,
even
I'm
know
still
what it
waiting on that
means.
video. I'm still waiting on that video.
Coming from you.
It's 2 times,
Wait.
and you keep muting me.
Wait, Adrian. It's
I'm not muting you, hon.
Yeah, someone is, and there it goes. Go look at it.
wait, where did you post it?
I don't see anything.
It's right there in the comments. The YouTube link.
I don't think you can post links in
Oh,
TikTok.
okay.
Yeah, so you'll see it, but we won't.
So we didn't see it.
She doesn't know that she just muted it. Yeah, when you X
It's
out.
called Trump mocks
She'll be
reporter
our
with
first communist
disability.
president. She'll be our first communist president if
It's
she's
on
elected.
YouTube. Trump mocks reporter with disability.
Oh my god, we're not even talking about that.
No,
No,
Ling
that
just
was what
asked
we
me
were
about
talking
it. So what are you talking about? She just
That-
asked me about it. There it goes. There's the video.
He's asking you about communism and capitalism.
She just asked me about the
She just
video.
answered for
Oh
that
my
Nobody
video.
asked you
god.
about the video.
She just did.
Yes, she just asked her for that video. That's
Oh, I
specific.
heard
video.
it, and so did I. Yeah, I heard it, and so did I.
Yeah. So, anyways, the like he did mock one a disabled person. It says U.S. president mocks reporter with disability. U.S. candidate Donald Trump makes fun of a reporter who suffers from a chronic muscular disease. And it's got a whole video there, but it's like it's a thing that happened. It was kind of a I don't know, what do you call it? Something that's up for interpretation, I suppose.
I mean,
So there you go. Like,
he's the same since 1987 to now. And
But like, well, even in polls, like conservatives have voted this moment as Trump's most offensive moment to them. Is that they felt like when he made fun of the disabled reporter, that was like the most
the
offensive. thing.
disabled reporter, that when he sat, what was it, 14 years ago, he brings up something to him, and it's like he's sitting there trying to make fun. You know, that's you come at Trump, he's coming right back at you.
you
Yeah.
think
10
that's
times
funny?
harder. I
How
think
is
it's
that
funny. That's funny. Because if you're a reporter and you want to sit there and go after people, and you want to go after people like the media is doing him now, and if he wants to recant and come at you that way, that's just how you never got made fun of your whole life. Have thicker skin, people.
So you think it's okay to mock people with disabilities if they disagree with you?
He didn't disagree with them. He just made it was.
So
it was more
why
towards-
not, instead of mocking their
Bash them.
disability, you judge their character instead?
Okay, judge his character when they're
Right, and not
attacking
something
him.
he can't control.
Okay.
Like, you guys just sound like assholes now. Like,
Well,
You
we
want
sound
to talk
like
about a
assholes
judge of
because-
character?
bullies.
You want to talk about a judge of character, Nori? Did you watch the DNC? Judge of character, they had a mobile van out there giving abortions and vasectomies.
Oh my God, that's
I'm
so
55.
tough.
Listen, Nori, listen, I'm talking. I'm 55 years old. I voted for Democrat and I voted Republican. But I also vote for the person that I see that their whole DNC, it is not the old Democrat Party. They were respected. It was all great. This was nothing but a Satan fest. DNC was terrible.
That's actually so much
What?
crazier than anything I've heard anybody else say. There's other
not
people
even
who were
true.
saying that they were offering certificates for free abortions. I've
Did you
heard
not
people
watch
say
the mobile
that
van
they
out
were
there with
handing
the?
out-
They did
This
25
is the
abortions in
first
2
time-
days,
wasn't
Nori.
This is the
connected to
first
the
time somebody
DNC.
said there was a mobile
So
van.
Nori,
handing out
Nori,
abortions.
come on,
How do you
Nori.
know he was
People are
mocking
going-
people with disabilities? How many people here have seen that clip? Because I've seen it many times, and not once have I seen where he was mocking
Me
a
too.
person. Who was the person with the disability? Did he mention the name? Probably not. You just made it up to make it look like you did.
I looked up
Exactly,
the
I
video.
watched.
Okay,
That's
great. But I
online?
just asked you, who is the person he was making fun of? Do we have a name?
Why
Who's
is that
who's
relevant?
person?
Why would I give a
Oh,
shit?
but it's
I'm
you have
looking
a
at the
point.
video and
Because
then
it's
mock
him.
someone with a
If you
different
have
so
a
hurt
point,
about it
you
right
said
now.
he was
Because
making-
if it
okay,
happened, he'd
so
have it.
first thing,
Yes.
you know what the funny
For the
thing is? You
time.
say that he was mocking someone with a disability, and yet you can't even give us a name. And you expect us
Why?
to go with
Why?
that?
Okay, you can look at
they
the
say it was
video.
mocking, but
And
No,
the
no,
see
no,
that
no,
he
no,
was
no, no, no,
mocking
no.
remember
See,
someone.
who he
here's the
was.
problem that I
He
have.
wrote
You
a-
had a claim.
Look, you're
You had
muting
a
people now.
claim.
You're
Wait,
muting
hold on,
You
people
had
now.
a claim.
hold on,
Here's
hold
the
on.
problem.
I
You
can
had
tell
a
you.
One at a
claim.
I can
time.
tell
One
you.
at a time.
I can
Who
tell you
was the
that,
person that he was mocking? You can't
everybody.
even tell us that, but yeah, you claim he was. I'm looking for proof.
Okay, I can tell
I'm
you who
looking
it
at the
is.
video.
I can tell you who
Because
it
you're
is.
a Democrat who is a Gen Z who doesn't get her way, and so you think this is going to fly.
What's
Okay,
with
I
I've
can
these
seen the
tell you.
video
random
many
ad
times.
homs? Who
If you
cares?
stop
Like,
talking, I
You're
can
a
tell
Gen
you the
Z.
name. I can
So
tell
apparently
it,
somebody has no
you
Democrats
won't
don't
allow me to
have
tell you the name. You
answers
keep saying you're asking for the name. I can tell you the name. Everybody
Because
knows the clip of Donald Trump
because you're
doing.
going to make it up and act like
No,
he
I'm not going
did,
to
but he
make it up.
didn't.
You can look up the name as soon as I tell it to you. You can look it up, and you will see
But
this
why
is
do
who it
you?
is.
Well, but the question is, why do you have to do it? Why can't she? It's
Because
her
I made
problem,
the
not
claim as
yours.
well. I also made the claim. I made the claim
Yeah,
numerous
after I
times.
came up and said it,
No, I
You're
made
and
the
such
now
a
claim
suddenly you have
numerous
a
weirdo.
times
claim.
before you were ever here. The person's name is Serge Kowaleski. Trump did an impression where he put his hand sideways and turned his head,
Oh
turned his
my
head sideways
word!
and went up on stage.
You know, don't
And
know. Here's the thing: don't pretend that you Democrats are perfect. I can name
nobody
1,000
thinks we're
flaws in you
perfect.
You
people.
This
just
guy's
came up
drunk.
here.
This
You
guy's
just came
drunk.
up here trying to attack
I'm
me.
dumb. There you go. There's
Like,
that first insult. What other insults do you want to call me?
you
Because you
just
don't
used
get
a
your way.
bunch
You're
of ad
dumb.
homs on me. What are you talking about? You're such a crybaby. Like,
Yeah, this is
And
the
yet
guy
you're
from
the one
earlier who
who's
doesn't
saying,
stop talking.
"Yeah, you're damn
I'm
right,
gonna
and
head
I have the
out.
right to
That's your
be."
extreme
I
I
makeup.
don't
appreciate
care.
y'all having me on. Y'all have a good
Yeah,
night.
goodbye, tomfoolery.
Thank you. Bye,
Democrats are.
Tom.
I have nothing nice to
Kick
say about
rocks.
Democrats. So you better hope I don't
he's
say
not even
anything
a
else that's
Democrat.
rude.
He's not a Democrat.
Well,
He
He's
literally
nothing.
stated
no,
that
but
he
you
was.
sound like
He
why?
voted for
Why do you
himself.
sound like
I
one
never
though?
said I
Why
was
do
a
you sound
Democrat
like one?
either.
Who you vote for?
What does sounding like a
Yeah.
Democrat mean?
Who you vote for? Lori, Marie?